Developments on the apartment explosion in southern Dallas County yesterday. Residents told me it felt like a bomb went off there, and it looks like it too. And we want to show you that destruction today. Have a look. This is what's left of part of the building at the Highland Hills Apartments there in southern Dallas. Nothing but rubble. It was so unstable that firefighters made the decision to demolish 10 apartment units there. And this is what it looked like before they tore down those apartment units. 8 people were injured, 4 of those firefighters. And to understand the magnitude of that explosion, this is what that part of the building looked like before the natural gas leak happened there. And tonight, more than 200 tenants say they are left in limbo. According to Dallas Councilman Tanel Atkins, the city of Dallas has helped secure rooms in 3 hotels for the residents who lost their homes and belongings at the Highland Hills Apartments in Oak Cliff. Adelia Camarillo and her husband are among those just struggling to help their young children understand what happened to their home.
We came back just to see what we can do, because we need to salvage things in our apartment, or we need to know what our next steps are, because we can't just sit here and wait like the management wants us to for the investigation to be concluded, because I still have to go to work.
And her children have to go to school. Investigators from Atmos, Dallas Fire Rescue, and the State Railroad Commission are working to determine exactly what caused the natural gas explosion at that complex. Malini Basu is live on the scene this afternoon. Malini, Dallas Fire Rescue calling this an isolated gas leak, but what does the NTSB say?
All day today, Cynthia, investigators have been here. They're still trying to figure all of this out. I spoke to some folks that were living here. They tell us they are still left struggling, trying to figure it out. But I just want to show you something. Just moments ago, we did see investigators taking photos right here in this area. This is where a stove is. There's a pipe here. There's a vent over here. They were just taking photos here. And just moments ago, a team of investigators just walked by us. Now, moving forward, fire officials are doing everything in their power to make sure they don't relive the same situation. All throughout the day, crews have been on scene at the site of the explosion on Highland Hills in Oak Cliff.
A lot of people are devastated right now because we can't even come back in and get, school uniforms for our kids.
As families are trying to figure out their next move, 3 firefighters remain in critical but stable condition.
Thankfully, we didn't lose anybody.
Something Jim McDade, the president of the Dallas Firefighters Association, is thankful for.
It's going to be a long road to get better. It's going to be, very, very long.
The National Transportation Safety Board issued new guidelines for how DFR responds to hazmat calls after 12-year-old Michaela Rogers died in a gas explosion in northwest Dallas. The guidelines focused on 3 areas: training, communication, and monitoring. First, better training arson investigators on gas systems in buildings. McCade says they've done that. Next, communicate with the appropriate agencies to investigate larger systemic safety issues. Finally, monitoring. After a gas-related fire or explosion, DFR will require monitoring to ensure there are no leaks.
And that also refers to kind of more when we see a whole area that is having an issue with multiple gas leaks.
Bottom line, McDade says all firefighters need monitoring devices.
I would tell us the basics when we get there. What, is there natural gas present? How much? Is it at a dangerous level?
Dangerous level, like yesterday's explosion, something families are trying to make sense of.
Emotionally, it's a lot, and it's a lot for, the kids to understand.
And it really is emotionally a lot. You heard her daughter in the background saying, "Mommy, Mommy." She, of course, needs her belongings as well. In the meantime, there were so many good people out here that have been stopping by, checking on the folks, bringing them food, water. But again, right now, the investigation is still underway, and we still don't know exactly what caused the explosion. For now, we are live in southern Dallas. I'm Malini Basu.
All right, thank you, Malini. And this incident has some of you asking questions about other natural gas explosions. One viewer at Techie Girl, you asked me on Twitter, wasn't there a piece of legislation that the GOP signed off on about gas leaks? So tonight we're verifying whether that legislation was passed and what it means in this more recent case. After the deadly natural gas explosion in northwest Dallas 3 years ago that killed Michelita Rogers, lawmakers passed a law requiring pipeline operators to remove all cast iron pipes from their systems by the end of this year, 2021. So we can verify legislation was passed addressing gas leaks in Texas, but Atmos has said its systems were not involved in yesterday's blast, and the cause again has not been determined. So it's too early to tell whether those laws will have any impact on this particular case. Our team is still working to get answers about the investigation, including a definite cause and what comes next for the tenants who no longer have a place to live. Everything we know can be found at WFAA.com.